So you want to learn to fly gliders, but how much is it going to cost? Do you have to buy a funny hat? Yes you do. And how much does it cost to join a club and actually learn to fly? Hey YouTube, how you going? So here in New Zealand and around the world, most gliding clubs are not-for-profit, volunteer-based organisations run by a whole bunch of mad people. Sorry, I mean people who are mad about gliding. They donate their time to be instructors and tow pilots and just general helpers on the ground. There are some commercial operations around as well. Here in New Zealand we've got Soaring. They're commercial because they do this for a job. They earn their living from glider flights. So they need to pay themselves a reasonable wage. So let's have a look at the costs involved in joining a club here in New Zealand, and we'll find out how much it costs to go solo. Around the world, prices will vary depending on location, size of the club, and facilities available, so keep that in mind. First up, you have to join a gliding club. It's about $570 New Zealand to join the club, which is about $350 US. Cheaper if you're a student or a youth. Tow fees. You have to get your butt into there somehow, and it's not going to fly itself. We use a tow plane primarily at our club. Now it costs about $36.50 per 1,000 feet that we tow up to. Some clubs charge by the minute, some clubs charge by how high they tow, which is what we do. So for circuit training, we tow to 1,000 feet, so that's 36 New Zealand dollars. And if you're doing a 2,000 foot launch, which is typical if you want to get away on a cross-country day, that is about 73 New Zealand dollars, which is about 44 US dollars. Winch launching is way cheaper, costs our club $25 a launch, and that's about 15 US dollars. So if you can find a club that does winching instead of aero towing, it'll likely be a much cheaper way of training. Especially at the beginning of your training, you need to do a lot of circuits, i.e. takeoffs and landings. Some sites you have to pay a landing fee. Our club, we pay a bulk fee to the council, which owns the airfield, so we don't have to pay for each individual flight, but a lot of sites you pay 10 to 15 New Zealand dollars per takeoff or landing. Glider hire. Sadly, gliders cost money. They cost money to buy and maintain. So your club has to recoup those costs somehow. We charge a per minute fee for the glider, which equates to about 75 New Zealand dollars an hour, which is about 45 US dollars an hour. Our club has a bulk fee we can pay per year. I think it's about $1,150 a year, which is about 700 US dollars, and that lets you fly our club fleet all you want. It's equivalent of 15 hours of flying. So if you're going to do more than 15 hours of flying a year, that's worth doing. I typically do at least 120 hours a year, and I was doing that in club gliders before I bought my own, so it was well worth me joining that scheme. So how much does it cost to get to solo stage, to the point where you can take off and land by yourself? How much training is required? Now this varies a lot per person depending on their skill level, whether they've had any flying experience before or not. I'll tell you how much it would have cost me if I were to do my training again now, how much it would cost in today's money. I did it about 15 years ago, so as you can imagine, costs have gone up a bit since then. So my flying, it took me about 10 hours of flying to get to solo stage. That included about 22 circuits. At today's prices, that's about $1,000 worth of circuits and glider time. So the total flying costs, including launches and glider hire time in our training gliders, would be about 2,500 New Zealand dollars, about 1,500 US dollars. Add to that the cost of joining the club, which is about $570. So we're looking at about 3,000 New Zealand dollars. I mean, really, that's not too bad. We get to fly friggin' aircraft around the clouds for $3,000 all by yourself. It's quite incredible, really. Worth doing, I would say. One thing you can do is spread out the costs over time. So if you don't have a huge income, you can spread out your training over the course of a year or longer, as some do. Just do it occasionally when you've got spare cash. It's not quite as efficient as getting through your training quickly, but if you need to spread it out, you can. So to get started with gliding, you don't actually need a lot of equipment or gear. Obviously, you need a good hat, by now at pureglide.nz, maybe a nice t-shirt. Other than that, a good pair of non-polarized sunglasses is ideal. Okay, enough chit chat. Go go find a local club near you. There's no point sitting around watching it on YouTube. Go and actually try it out, see what you think.